Welcome back to Lost in Roshar, the ultimate journey through the Stormlight archive. I'm Christian.
And I'm Jimmy. Today we are diving into chapter 28 of The Way of Kings, and we're going to be talking about Hoid's letter, which is the epigraph through all of part 2. We're finally going to get to read this, and Christian's going to have to decipher this for me. But just to let everybody know, full spoilers ahead for the Cosmere, or I should say Stormlight, not all of Cosmere. The Stormlight published works. If you haven't read it, we'll see you later. For everyone else, welcome back to Lost in Roshar. We're so happy to have you. And Christian, I have a question for you today.
Go ahead.
Do you believe in aliens?
Oh, mate. Jimmy asking the hard-hitting question. Aliens are out there. I just don't think they're here.
You don't think they're here yet?
At least I'm not convinced.
I'm not either.
I was kind of like, oh, what is this? And now I'm like, I don't know. I just think aliens are going to be so weird that we don't even know. Like, maybe they're here, but we don't even know it.
I'm with you though. I'm totally with you. I think there's something out there. There's probably life forms of many different varieties and different levels of intelligence. But like, I'm just not at first, Christian, when all this UFO stuff was coming, I was like, I want to believe, man. I want to believe. X-Files was playing in my brain, and I'm just like, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet,
dude. I want okay, just logically, I'm like, the universe is so big, there's so much going on. Surely there's alien life out there somewhere. I don't want to believe that they're here, though. I don't want that.
You're not ready?
I don't want that. No, thank you.
I'm ready.
I just want to keep just doing our thing. You know,
yeah, we could wrap this whole thing up. Like, let's just put a bow on it. Just put me in the ant farm.
That's enough, you may. Put me in the ant farm. What if they're like, hey, we like the podcast?
Oh, well, they're big fans. Yeah, they tell me that all the time. They hit me with the ESP when I'm laying in bed. The ESPN as I'm laying in bed.
Oh, man.
There's a reason why I thought about aliens, though, because in this, and we're going to get into the the reread, but I wanted to just bring this up. Dalinar's thinking about this is how it's always been here, and why did they use these weapons this way? And he's thinking about like the lineage of shard blades and history on Roshar. And it's just funny to me because I'm sitting there like, bro, you're the aliens. Like, there was like the reason why you're using it for this is because you're not from here. Like, you didn't.
He's you guys so close to cracking the code.
The Parshendi are the ones who are doing things the normal way. Like, you guys are the weirdos. And I just thought about how, like, aliens, am I right? No, but like you wouldn't understand exactly how they would communicate, how their culture works.
I mean, it's just so like we impose so much of the human condition onto aliens.
Yes,
that's absolutely the thing. Like all of life on Earth is designed to exist on like as we do on Earth. So wherever aliens are from, I'm sure is quite different, unless like the blueprint for Earth is like somehow the blueprint for all life. But dude, I don't know.
How
you're asking me this question like 2 hours into our chat, and it's like
how
too much for me.
Would it be if we met aliens and they were just like us and they had Whole Foods?
That would suck.
You're like, you guys have Whole Foods too? I would just jump off a bridge. I'd be like, that's it. That's what the universe has come to, is a Whole Foods and a Chipotle on a street corner. Like, I'm done. I'm out. I'd be so disappointed.
You know what I'd like? I'd like a Shadesmar or something that I could get into.
Statistically, I imagine with the universe, how big it is, there is actually probably some statistical significance that the Cosmere exist.
Like these. Yeah. I mean, if things are infinite, then yes, they do exist, right? That's the whole.
I can't prove the Cosmere doesn't exist.
Oh, confirmation right there. That's all, folks.
I'm just asking questions, Christian. I'm just asking questions.
I'm just putting it out there, dude. I'm just putting it out there. I can't prove it doesn't exist. Done.
Just try to like. And I am talking about like the Rosharian alien angle, which is like my favorite perspective change, by the way. Like on the reread is just knowing that information is so huge. But even thinking about Earth, you're telling me it's 90 something degrees in Australia and it's Christmas time. You're going to be going into the Christmas season.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Santa putting barbecue spits down. And I'm like,
hell yeah.
I can't even like, as a dumb average American, I can't even imagine that. That's so crazy to me.
Yet we're like so trained to imagine the perfect American Christmas with the snow falling outside and the happy family with the little dog, and they're just like, Merry Christmas, Jimmy, and you get like a train set you know, and your dad ruffles your hair, you know. But yeah, there's no Australian Christmas movies playing in. I mean, there's just no Australian Christmas movies. Period. They should be.
I just can't believe that, you know, you can get a tan on Christmas. That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, Santa's like popping up a cold one, having a cold beer, and flipping some snags on the Barbie. That's what's going on. I wonder what Rosharian Christmas would look like. A couple of crabs on the Barbie.
Oh yeah, they're definitely Kremlings everywhere.
Oh yeah, it's the Kremling.
Do you think the chasm fiends are like the trees and they just hang stuff from them?
Yeah, why not? I wonder, like, do you think, now that I'm thinking about it, like, here we still sing all the bloody snowish Christmas songs for some reason. Do you think there's a lack of songs in Stormlight / the Cosmere?
Well, the Parshendi are the singers, so maybe we'll get some more Parshendi bangers, you know, mixtapes.
I mean, there are some Parshendi bangers, but
there are. That's actually true. Venli is going to drop a mixtape about Esh and I. Yeah. It's going to be baller, dude.
But like, I mean, the fantasy trope starting with Tolkien, right, is like the songs.
Yeah.
And then we got like Toss a Coin to Your Witcher. That was a big song.
Rains of Castamere.
Rains of Castamere. So many songs, right? Where's the, I don't know, the Stormblessed?
You're right, though. Like, where is the Stormlight song?
Yeah, there's like Stormlight stories, like One to Sail, and like this the stories that Dalinar gets from the Wave Kings, but there's no songs, mate. I want a good song. Yeah, like, where are the songs about the heralds? I feel like this is a glaring thing.
Yeah.
Maybe he just wanted the singers to be the singers, you know. Maybe the Alethea just like the, I don't know.
I don't know. I think it'd be interesting if there was like some equivalent to like Southside Chicago drill rap, like in Roshar. You know what I mean?
I think who's likely, like, who's out of all the characters, who's like gonna make Adolin? Oh, no, he's like gonna start a boy band.
It's exactly where I was going with it.
Yep. Yeah.
Or you could do Shallan, which is like a 1-person act, but really it's a 3-person act.
Yeah. She's like live poetry / meltdowns on stage. I could see Kaladin becoming like a singer-songwriter, like him and his guitar.
Tonight will be the night that I will fall for you over again. Yeah, I could see it. I could see
that. Yeah.
Sad boy music. I'm sorry for everyone had to listen to that.
That was quite good. That took me right back.
Yeah, I would have slayed in like late 2010 alternative scene. I would have just killed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is happening right now?
Oh, dude. You know, we started this podcast and I thought Jimmy's going to be a great host, and you know what, the compilation of you singing top hits, it's coming along quite nice.
Oh no, am I the singing guy?
You're the singing guy.
I hate the singing guy on podcasts I listen to.
Yeah,
I don't want to be him.
You're busting out into songs. I mean, you did Dua Lipa a few weeks ago. I remember that.
I mean, I did jingles. Jingles are different, right?
Your jingles, they separate you from the singing guy. I think the audience appreciates the jingles. I miss the jingles, to be honest.
I mean, I'm under no impression that I'm actually doing a good job of any of this. That's the difference. Like, I've listened to podcasts where like one of the hosts sings and you can tell he's waiting for the applause when he finishes. And you're just like, this is dreadful.
I think, I just think we need more segments so we can get more jingles and we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
More money, you know?
Yeah, just, you know,
like,
there's 5 cents. It's, you know, I hear all these ads in podcasts. I'm like, I don't want to do any of these ads. I don't want to endorse any of this. I don't know. I just want to get to the meat, you know, and someone will play that clip when we get an ad and they'll be like, he's changed.
I love reading ads. It's like my favorite thing.
Really?
I'm so good at it.
It'd be you've got your natural presenter. You just know how to present things. I just talk about this, and I'm so glad I have you to like do the presenting thing because I can't do it.
Well, I think, you know, whenever you're young and you're like, when I grow up, I'm going to do this. Like, I can't wait to go grocery shopping or drive my first car. Like, I don't know about you, but whenever I was young and I was in school, I always thought what I would do as a teacher. Like, when I grew up and I'm a teacher, even though I wasn't going to be a teacher, I like thought about it. Yeah. And I've always, when I listen to podcasts, I always thought like, man, one day I'm going to read an ad. Like, I don't know why. I just always
read
wanted
an ad.
I was like, I will read that ad so well.
Yeah.
And we do them on Bend the Knee. And
every
time we get one,
so
I'm
good.
excited.
I actually look forward to your ad reads. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
But it's going to be such a contrast if we have to do an ad read together. You're like, and get 25% off. And I'm going to be like, and yeah, it'll get delivered to you.
Was that your Jimmy impression? Because that was
my Jimmy
good.
impression. Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Because I'm like, welcome back to Lost in Roshar. I'm Christian. And you're like, and I'm Jimmy. Today. It's like the energy. The energy goes up. And I'm like, oh, I wasn't energetic enough. But I think if I got energetic, it would be weird.
I think it would be weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be weird. I got to keep it mellow.
I feel like you wear your enthusiasm on your face, which is like, the downside of doing audio only. Like you have that charming smile. Your face lights up a little bit. Christian's blushing right now.
This is when I see a capital letter as we read the chapter. He sees a little twinkle. I'm just like, I'm gonna go to the cup of mine, baby.
Oh my god!
And Jimmy's like deadpan. Like as he said all this, his face hasn't changed an inch. No, it's just, it's like talking to a mannequin. It's quite unsettling, actually.
Yes, I put it all in my voice.
Yeah. It's yin yang, mate. We're just perfectly balanced.
I would agree with that. I think we are very well balanced. It's a bit like Dalinar and Lift. It's just the perfect combo.
Yeah, and you're like, I think in that, who's who in that scenario?
Oh, I'm Lift for sure. Unfortunately,
yeah, you're feeding me pancakes, and I'm just like, oh.
I'm just talking about your glutes. Like it gets real weird sometimes. Whenever
she did do that, didn't she? She does talk about his glutes. I forgot about that.
Yeah, she talks about his butt cheeks. Very strange.
Yeah, I mean, we're all waiting for it. Someone had to talk about him.
I can't believe you made me sound like Goofy there whenever you did that. Like,
what?
Hey, I'm Jimmy. You made me sound like Goofy on methamphetamine.
That's just how it comes across, mate. And I've got no problems with it. I think you just gotta just accept it.
I embrace it. I absolutely embrace it.
But I've heard you imitate me. You're like, oh yeah, I'm Christian.
Welcome back to Lost in Discovery.
Oh, I'm so proper.
I'm wearing my pluggers.
What's a plugger?
I don't know. I saw it on Australian news and I thought it was hilarious. I was like, oh, I ripped my pluggers. I thought it was the funniest thing ever.
I feel like Americans have all this Australian slang that we don't use. Or maybe I just don't know about pluggers.
I saw it on Australian news.
Pluggers.
Yeah, the guy, he stops like an armed robbery and he's like, yeah, I stopped him and I ripped my pluggers. It's like the news anchors are dying when they read it. And I was like, well, I'm putting that in my vocabulary now.
Ripped my pluggers.
Also, can we just acknowledge that I have a horrendous Australian impersonation? Like, it's bad. It's offensive.
It's really hard to do. It doesn't come naturally.
No. I mean, English doesn't come naturally to me. It's my second language.
What's your first language?
Rosharian.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
That's a Lost in Roshar host if I've ever heard one. Man, let's talk about this chapter.
Well, also, hey, big weekly update.
Weekly update.
Project number 4 is out. We're going to say what it's about. So if you don't want to hear that, skip ahead 30 seconds. It is about Sigzil and what he's doing. And, Hoid's apprentice, which I always forget. But we should be getting some Stormlight stuff possibly out there. He's not on Roshar, which I didn't know. I didn't know that. I didn't know he was not on Roshar.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm curious to see where the timeline is. If you go to Sanderson's video of him reading, he reads a little bit of it. Mm-hmm. I'm up there in the comments somewhere being like, man, I can't wait. So I think I did listen to that. So at some point, no memory of it though. I literally went to go check that video and I saw my comment there. I was like, oh, I don't remember this. Do you ever have that? I don't know.
All the time. Sometimes I'll even go to leave a comment and it's exactly what I said the time before.
Yeah. And I feel like that's what's going to happen in this podcast. Like I'm going to say the same things. I'm terrified of saying the same things over and over again. And I feel like I already am. Yeah.
It's fine. You're always bringing new stuff. It's me. I mean, I only have so many. I'm about halfway through all my bits. And then once that's done, you're going to find a replacement because people are going to be tired of hearing me.
Yeah, I'll be happy to. That's okay already. I've got a few lined up.
I don't blame you, honestly. Yeah. You could do better.
No, Jimmy. This is like I said, perfectly balanced. Perfectly balanced. If anything were to change, the show ends, mate.
If we keep saying it, it'll come true.
Yeah.
We should give a big shout out
to
the people who listen to us, though, because you and I, this perfectly balanced duo last week, said, hey, guys, we want to hear your thoughts on part 2. And we figured, hey, we'll get a few and we'll cover it with the final chapter and Hoid's letter. We'll do some span reads. We underestimated y'all. We got so many emails, which is great. We're happy about this. This is fantastic. And to celebrate that fact, next episode, we will be doing a thoughts and theory section where about, I would say maybe half the episode is going to be us responding to your thoughts about part 2 and some of your bigger theories. And we're also going to be trying to fit in the interludes next week. But the outreach was incredible from you guys. And
it was really shocking, to be honest.
Yes.
It like quadrupled the amount of emails we generally get. And I was just like, whoa, people are listening.
Yeah. It felt good.
And they're good theories too. I was like, damn, these are going to be fun to talk about. Keep dropping your theories, guys. I love a good crazy theory. Even if it's like kind of far-fetched, let's make it work.
Yeah, we will entertain pretty much anything that comes into the old span read box, which is lost in Roshar at gmail.com. And if you have something and you missed the call out last week, send it this week. We're going to be covering it next week. It'll probably be about a week until we record. So, that episode, and if we get so many, it might just be a full episode of span reads, which would be a lot of fun.
We'll see. Yeah, it could be fun to do that every now and then. Just have a span read app, crazy theories app. As much as we love the Way of Kings, it's also fun to talk about more recent theories.
Definitely. And also, if you're listening to this, well, I don't have any theories, but I had some ideas about, what we read in part 2 or what's coming up in part 3, send that in as well. Like just commentary and your take on things. We definitely appreciate. We got a couple of those in as well. And like I said, we have a very apparently engaged listenership, but also what seems to be a pretty eloquently worded one, because some of the writing in this is actually pretty funny as well. Like people cracking jokes. I loved it. It made my week.
Oh yeah. People are really funny. That's the best part too.
Yeah, honestly, you might be able to get a co-host. Just fire me and bring on a new person every week.
Yeah, guys, and any applications to replace Jimmy, just shoot it my way, and I'll delete it before he reads it. Don't worry.
If you could have one person replace me on this podcast, that's the email prompt. I want people to send in who they
who would be the. Hey, you're just assuming they're getting you. Let's get rid of me, mate. I've had enough. What if I'm just over Stormlight?
Bro, without you,
scared to tell people.
Without you, this is just a first read through podcast because I forgot everything.
It kind of feels like that though. This chapter I have very little memory of. This was one of the first chapters. I'm like, I don't remember. I remember Dalinar smacking these stones like a chat, but that's it. That's it. I don't remember the whole Yasna conversation. Did not remember that.
Bro, I literally read this chapter and was like, oh man, like that, what's Dalinar plan in here? And I was like, oh yeah, he abdicates. I literally was like, oh man, where are we going with this? This is some really deep,
but I'm pretty sure he doesn't. I'm pretty sure he doesn't, right?
I don't think so. I think he ends up taking it back. I can't remember. I honestly, I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, like he's still like in that position later. So I'm like, I don't remember this drama actually of him being like, I love how Adolin's like, what are you planning, Dad? Like, it's like the most obvious thing ever.
Adolin's not the sharpest knife in the drawer.
No.
He's really not.
He's not. But he's got a new woman.
He always has a new woman, it seems.
And little did he know, he just kind of met his wife, kind of through the span read a little bit.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. Like I didn't really remember the Shallan interaction.
I didn't either.
Sorry, I'm jumping into the chapter.
I'll tell you what. Let's just do the chapter, and then we'll do the letter from Hoid that took up all the epigraphs. I think that's a good place to go. And with the letter, there'll be a bunch of implications for the Cosmere, which will be cool. But
did you say Cosmere implications?
Implications. Yeah, we need a little.
That's a segment.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So chapter 28, the final chapter in part 2 of The Way of Kings, is titled Decision. It comes from the point of views of both of the Colons, Adolin and Dalinar. I'm going to give a quick summary here just to jog people's memories if they're not reading along with us. But while on an inspection, Adolin studies his father and worries about what he sees. Taleb demonstrates a prototype of a new portable bridge, which fails, unfortunately. Adolin encourages him to continue working on the design. As they move off to start inspections, Dalinar wonders why there are no shards for ordinary people and asks Adolin if he feels the thrill. And then they make their way out to the battalions, and they're talking about the economic impact of the continual harvesting of the gemstones, and like, is this going to be something they can continue? Also, the colonization of the Shattered Plains. Dalinar tells Adolin that soon he will have to consider this, which makes Adolin's ears perk up a bit. Like, what in the world could Dad be talking about here? And remaining completely aloof. And then we see that it becomes clear that the groom's loyalty to Dalinar probably made the situation worse when we're talking about the strap, because it looks like they're trying to defend him from something he may have done. So we get all the strap stuff in this chapter as well.
Hell, yeah, we do.
Yeah, all the strap for all the people out there that love that.
Strap.
Adolin then questions why Dalinar keeps giving him the lead. Dalinar tells him that he has a decision to make, but before he can elaborate, he notices a messenger in Thanadel's colors. The messenger informs Dalinar that Thanadel has to cancel their meeting. Dalinar presses the messenger, and he says he's instructed to say that Thanadel does not wish to do a joint plateau assault with him. All 8 High Princes have refused Dalinar's offer, leaving only one. Of course, it's Sadeas. So basically, then he gives a vague excuse and goes away and lets Adolin continue the inspection without him. And then this is where Dalinar starts just hammering at stuff on the ground and hitting rocks and thinking about how easy life would be if he just hit rocks.
Purposeful.
Yeah, and he's not using the shard blade, which is obviously the better way of doing this. He's using his warhammer, and then orders. Cool. Yeah, he like sends the workers out of the latrine pit. He's like, I'll do it. So he ends up doing this and gets approached by Navani, who questions what he's doing and says there is a span reed from Yasna. And this is big for Dalinar, because he's like, she doesn't call for just nothing. Yeah. So I go into the viewing room, and she hints at starting a relationship, but Dalinar refuses. This is talking about Navani, of course. Holding to the tradition that a witted sister-in-law is a sister in truth, Dalinar is surprised to find Adolin along with his clerks and their attendants also already sitting in the chamber. Adolin introduces his new level of interest, and clerk Danlin Morakatha, maybe is how you say it, Marakatha. He and Yasna have a short exchange about their family. Then Yasna asked him to repeat his first encounter with the Parshendi 7 years ago. And then she also wants to know about the shard blades that they have in their possession, and he replies that he only saw them after Gavilar's death. She then has her new ward, Shallan, who we've missed dearly, draw what is referred to in the book as a Voidbringer, although she doesn't believe it to be one. Dalinar and Adolin identified as a chasm fiend. Dalinar urges Yasna to come back to the Shattered Plains as soon as possible. The conversation ends, and he finds himself alone with Navani, where he reveals that he will abdicate his position to Adolin, and she believes that he is a big dummy for doing this.
Massive dummy.
Yes, big dumb.
Lovely summary, courtesy of the Copper Mind, might we say. Thank you.
A couple of improv changes there, but for the most part, just trying to parse through that. I think it helps people, because I know not everyone can get to the chapter every week. And I don't want people to be completely lost where we're at, because these are big books, and like me, I'm sure you forgot stuff from time to time.
Most people are like, hey, I started the reread when you started episode 1 of Lost in Roshar, and I'm finished Rhythm and War.
We have had a couple of those emails,
yeah. So they probably, this is a distant memory, this chapter.
Yes, very much.
What a chapter. Like, even that summary, I'm like, man, a lot happened. A lot happened.
Yeah.
Look, there's a lot to say. I just can't get over how cool the Warhammer was, though. The way it's like presented, these guys are like, oh, we can't lift it, and Dalinar's like, give it over here, mate, one-handed. And at the end, how it's all bent, it's like chipped, and the whole handle is all bent and everything. And I just found it funny. I don't know, just the thought of Dalinar being like, man, this is so rewarding. I feel like the use of this, it's like working out for the first time or going for a run for the first time. You're just like, man, all these endorphins.
And there's also something to be said about like kind of a little bit of maybe commentary on the class system there, right? Is that like to him this is a nice break from all the other tension he has to deal with, whereas some people actually have to do this for a job and like it's their duty and they hate it, and to him it's like a fun side quest, you know, a relief. There's something about that, I think, that
I felt that a little too.
And that's, you know, that's fair. That's definitely fair.
The humble common folk. Aha. I understand.
Like, yeah, it's like whenever I ate Spam when I was a kid because I was poor, and then my wealthy friend ate Spam because he thought it was like cute and funny. He's like, "Oh, I'm eating Spam," and I'm like, "That was my dinner last night." Oh, dude. I remember those days.
Oh, like, that hurts. Yeah, there was a little bit of that. I liked that little. There was like a little moment where he sends his like right hand man Taleb or whatever to tell the people to just relax and stop watching, and he's like, have light conversation quietly. But he's like ordering them to just chatter amongst themselves. That was kind of funny. They're just so serious. Yeah. And he's like such a little mini Dalinar. Dalinar would so be awkward like that. Chatter amongst yourselves. Be jovial. But it's cool, like he's embracing Nahadon's teachings of like understand the people. He's really becoming an embodiment of the book, of the Way of Kings. He's embracing it. It was fun to be in his head and understand the thought process. I think we needed this, you know. It had been a bit samey. Dalinar hadn't really stopped and thought over everything. So it was fun. It was fun to get all of that. But I guess it gets most interesting once we have the chat with Yasna, right? And Navani. Were you surprised at how forward Navani was?
Yeah, I did forget how like just in your face she could be, but I also think that's probably why I was very drawn to her character on my first read through. Like I always loved Navani scenes, and that's probably why, because I'm also a very blunt person. So for me, it's like I see you, girl. I see you.
It was nice, right? Because everyone's so uptight. Like Adolin. Adolin's got that like repressed son energy, and Dalinar's, you know, Dalinar's Dalinar. So it's finally nice to see someone be like, "What are you doing? Why you should? What are you doing, mate? Why didn't I? You want to marry me?" Just like real casually.
Oh man,
and he's just like, "Oh, I'm so uncomfortable. She's leaving me in a room alone." Oh, yeah, I love reading about the moments when they first met the Parshendi. I freaking love that. I don't know, this whole first contact thing is so cool to me.
Yeah.
And Dalinar was fascinated by them. He was loving life. And it struck me again to realize, wow, it was like 1 year of them meeting them before this whole assassination, treaty, everything. Like, it's very quick.
It went downhill very quickly.
Yeah, and this relationship's really new, and it's interesting that the Parshmen was such a strong fixture in their society, and the Parshendi were a very random discovery. A line that I highlighted that's a potential mystery here. I don't know if we can make much of it. He said the first meeting happened when we were exploring a forest that wasn't on the maps. So I'm wondering, like, who made these maps that they were working off originally? Because it's one thing to say, like, they were in uncharted territory, but they were working off some kind of a map. So why was there a forest on their copy? I mean, why wasn't there a forest? Sorry.
Yeah, that's a fantastic question, and a lot is made of the maps, and we even see like drawings of maps inside of the book. I think that's probably significant.
Yeah. Or, yeah, were they just working off such an old map that a forest had grown in the meantime? But that kind of seems like...
it doesn't seem like ecologically, like, Roshar's just so volatile.
Yeah.
Because of the storms and the changing of the seasons and everything, that maybe it's possible it would be able to grow fast, or maybe it would render it impossible. I don't know.
We've also got a god called cultivation.
Ooh, shoot. Yeah,
Could
you're
she
right.
have just like cultivated a little forest real quick? Could she have forced this meeting, perchance?
Oh my God.
Maybe it wasn't a coincidence. I'm
just asking questions.
Dude, I mean, look, we're recording. It's past midnight here. I felt a bit sloppy, but now I'm warming up.
All right. He's got the oils flowing.
Here, what am I saying? A forest could have grown. We got magic. Cultivation. Maybe like, yeah, they were playing a hand in the meeting or something.
Yeah, and maybe this had to happen. I like
bust open Rhythm of War, hey.
Yeah.
Like, we can read that. Because we have the first contact chapters. They're real. They're there.
Yeah, we need... Oh, man, I can't wait.
We should have cross-checked.
Yeah. We should have. I like this. I think if we get an answer for it, it would probably be in book 5. I think book 5 is going to kind of cap off this Parshendi Alethi thing.
Yeah. Before, it's just like the people on Roshar sort of thing. The inhabitants. Yeah. It's weird because, like, your memories can trick you, right? So in my head, them meeting the Parshendi was like Dalinar with like the machete going through the forest, and then like Tarzan and like a Parshendi's like, oh, you know, like crouching in the, I don't know, writing a song, making a mixtape, and they're like, oh, who are you?
Eshonai in the booth, just
yeah, she's like, yeah, the side eye, and then the whole language thing was cool, like how they learned Alethian like almost instantly, like they were like fluent within a year or something, under a year. I forgot what the exact amount of time was. And I'm just like, I don't know why that is. Is that another magical thing?
Do you think it's just because they're so in tune with like rhythms and vibrations, and like they have such a bigger range of those things that like maybe the simple noises that come out of the Rosharian, or I shouldn't say the Alethi's mouths, is just like easy for them?
Maybe. I just hesitate to discuss it because I know this is like totally talked about in the flashbacks. I remember there was a whole thing about Eshonai learning because she's like the translator, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, there's probably
we're probably asking questions that have been answered, and people are listening right now going, these guys are idiots.
Yeah.
Whatever, guys.
That's what I'm wary of.
I got up early, Christian's up late. We're trying to meet somewhere in the middle here.
It's a total mess here. I'm lost in Roshar.
I will say this.
Are you a morning person?
Who, me?
Yeah, are you?
Not really.
Okay,
no.
Yeah. Because I'm not like the 1 a.m. guy either.
I'm not much of anything, honestly, anymore. I'm just
just like, yeah, right. It's like, ooh, 9:30.
It's just different levels of tired.
Yeah. Exactly. That's all it is.
This chapter, I think the forest thing is really interesting. There's a lot of questions about like why things are the way they are. Have they always been this way? And can we change it in the future? And one of those things is when Dalinar is talking to Adolin, he says, why do you suppose, Dalinar said, there are no shard plate like suits for workmen? What? Shardplate gives awesome strength, but we rarely use it for anything other than war and slaughter. Why did the Radiants fashion only weapons? Why didn't they make productive tools for use by ordinary men? I don't know, Adolin said. Perhaps because war is the most important thing around? Perhaps, Dalinar said, voice growing softer. And perhaps that's a final condemnation of them and their ideals. For all of their lofty claims, they never gave their plate or its secrets to the common people. And then he proceeds to jump in a pit and start hitting with hammer. Stuff with hammer. My bad, folks. Sorry. We try to keep it swear free here.
It's tough.
I punted that one.
Yeah. I just, as that whole conversation was going on, I kept thinking of Lift with her shard fork. That's what I was thinking of. I'm like, what you talking about, Dalinar? You just got to get creative.
He just doesn't know.
Yeah. I mean, the whole idea of shards being used for like the workforce got me weirdly excited. I'm like, let's industrialize this place, baby.
I mean, we start to see, the airlifts and stuff like that, right? And the behavioral science is getting better. I mean, we're watching this happen.
Yeah. But I'm imagining like that, like the mech suits, like carrying stuff and like making shard skyscrapers,
Yeah. Well, Dalinar thinks about this more. He says in his internal dialogue, when we switch to his POV, it says, where were the shards for ordinary men? Why hadn't the ancients who were so wise created anything to help them? As Dalinar continued to work beats of his hammer, throwing chips and dust into the air, he easily did the work of 20 men. Shard plate could be used for so many things that ease the life of workers and dark eyes across Roshar. So that's essentially what you said. I mean, that's what Dalinar's kind of getting at right here.
I wonder if it's just because like the radiance of that time, you had to say the oaths and bonds brand. It was like this natural thing. Could you even share it? Could you like? Could you get a blade?
I think most technological advances come from trying to perform violence on another person.
Yeah, it's like they don't gain traction until it's used in war.
Yes, I mean that's happened in our real world many of times. I mean, you know, even nuclear energy came from
Oppenheimer's all about that.
Yeah, basically. So I mean, it just shows you that where the priorities lay. And unfortunately, it just seems that war and violence is like a part of the fabric of who we are. Like we just never stop. We have never stopped. Yeah. And that, for better or for worse, has also pushed technological advances ahead. And I think Dalinar is having that reflection, saying, well, I'm in a position of power. And later on, he's going to be in a much bigger position of power that he doesn't even realize yet. But, you know, this is part of that transformation for him and seeing things differently and looking at the class system. And what Brandon Sanderson's doing here is setting up the fact that we're going to be able to believe that Kaladin can get along with Dalinar. That's what this is. Because we've seen, Kaladin has had such a black and white view of the higher classes, and Sanderson is laying the groundwork and the trust from the reader to know that this is possible.
Yeah, you're so right. This is the you start to get the itch now of like, oh, let's get these two together. Let's see how they mesh or they don't, and then we get like, isn't it soon we get the interaction between Adolin and Kaladin? He like flicks a coin at him, like, "Hey, bridge boy, camera stuff," or something like that. Go fetch the leader, little bridge boy.
The worst.
Speaking of other transformations, I started to think of like, the tech has improved so much by Rhythm of War. Are we looking at skyscrapers and like highways in book 10?
Well, we do get a time jump, right? I don't know why, but I think, you know, we've done our road trip across Roshar, but like, do you think there's going to be vehicles?
I think so, dude. I actually think so.
I don't really want that.
Neither do I. I just got a weird flash of like, what's that? Fury Road?
Oh, Mad Max.
Mad Max Fury Road. Like, that's got that Roshar vibe. Can you imagine like all these like shard cycles chasing people across the Shattered Plains?
Yeah, I don't want that.
I think I'd hate that. Hey, I think I'd actually hate that.
I would not want. I don't want it.
I mean, later, like do it later, Cosmere stuff. Like give me some shard motorcycles, cool.
Yeah.
But Stormlight, I don't know, it just kind of breaks the whole fantasy thing for me. Even though it's cool, you know?
Yeah.
Even when they made Bridge 4 fly, I was a bit like, oof, I don't know.
That was a big moment for you know, the general reader that was, you know, maybe not as into the Cosmere and stuff. I think some people did struggle with that. Like I knew people who had been reading alongside of me. Yeah, they were like, all right, they're flying. I'm out. And I'm like, well, come on, guys. Like, come on. They're not really.
Yeah, it's all right. They're falling with style, as Buzz Lightyear would say.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
In a weird way. Yeah.
I will say I was okay with it. It took a second for me to adjust to.
Yeah. I got excited by it, but it's just like, how far are we going to go? Presuming it keeps going. Because I feel like maybe it won't because of this whole end of the world scenario we're working up to. So maybe not. But,
and you could also argue that, you know, from Oathbringer to Rhythm of War, there's like this little gap of time. And I wouldn't say it's a peaceful time because they're preparing, but there is time to distract them from having to prep for all of the war. And then you see some advancements in the technology. Yeah. So like maybe there'll be periods where people like invent and innovate, possibly. But maybe it won't be as aggressive as we're saying.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's just, I think it's just because we're reading Yumi and it feels a bit more modern. So it's like modern Cosmere. It doesn't feel as far-fetched anymore. Yeah. Modern-ish Cosmere. Yeah.
Yeah, and as more people come from other worlds, like, are we going to see crossover from technology and stuff? And, you know.
Yeah, like, are we going to get like a nanotech? Like, are they going to make the internet? You know?
I don't want the
Kaladin gonna make depressing Instagram updates. Yeah.
I hope not.
I mean,
do you think it'd be called? Do you think it'd be called like cremming?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god,
dude! Should we make a Kremling social network and then call it cremming? It'd be like 16 users.
Cremming sounds illegal.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. It sounds like some like really shady black market phishing scam. Like,
yeah, cremming.
Oh yeah, I was crimming last night, bro. I cleaned out this old woman.
Ooh, I feel. Ooh, I'm getting a chill.
I'm getting a chill.
my Kremling senses. Don't use my name in vain, mate.
Don't associate me with the dark arts.
Yeah, that's like a slur against Kremlings.
What do you make of all this banging and hammering and stuff? I mean, we get this whole section.
That's just Sanderson.
I feel like there's something there, man. I don't know. I think there's.
I'm gonna write this. Scene out. I don't know. Just kind of felt like a cinematic moment. Like he's just like, oh, I believe this. You know. Yeah. Each hit, he's hammering home the message. Get it? Come on.
I don't know. I feel like there's something to it. And at some point he talks about like the vibrations, and I was like, ooh, like rhythms. Like I was like, there's something going on here. And we're in rocks. You know, we've been the rock conspiracy podcast. And for me,
you know what made me so happy? I'll let you finish, but someone in the email is like, you know what? I laughed at the rock thing at first, but now I'm with you.
Let's go.
Our job is done.
I'm just here to evangelize about rock theory.
Yeah, go on, mate.
I'm just saying, he's sitting here in these pile of rocks and these stones, and I don't know. It feels like there's something more.
That's like, okay, all right. I'll entertain this. Okay. All right. So the book spoke of a king carrying the burdens of his people. It said that those who led were the lowest of men, for they were required to serve everyone. It all swirled around in him, the codes, the teachings of the book, the things, the visions, or delusions showed. And then he's like thinking of those things, bang, bang, bang in between. Where's the part about the vibrations? Where's that happening?
I'm trying to find it. I mean, I have this paragraph. It says chips sprayed, bouncing off his plate. He was beginning to feel worn and tired. The plate didn't do the work for him. It enhanced his strength, so each strike of the hammer was his own. His fingers were growing numb from the repeated vibration of the hammer's haft. He was close to a decision. His mind was calm and clear. And it almost felt like there was like, I mean, I know it's probably just therapeutic, so just follow me here. It feels like it's almost like a reversal of the thrill in some ways. And like we hear about clarity. Yeah, it's like a clarity from it. I don't know. Like he's taking. So if he was swinging his warhammer as Dalinar has swung his warhammer before, he would be taking lives and committing violence and indulging in the thrill. Whereas right now he is not doing that. He's doing something to help out his fellow man with the same motion, the same intensity, and the same strength. And he is achieving calmness and tranquility through it. There's something about that I feel is like, I mean, one, it's obviously thematically relevant, but I just feel like there's maybe some significance to this. And maybe this is the first time that we could say like maybe there's an unmade behind the thrill. Like maybe this is a small hint towards that.
Yeah, like there's an external force. I mean, it's the first time he's been able to put in practice the things from the Way of Kings into life and see direct results from it. Everything else is bounced off. Like he's trying to teach people about it. Nope. He's trying to enhance the codes. Everyone does it, but they're like, oh, he's kind of annoying. But this, he's like, I'm building a toilet. You know?
You will be able to relieve yourselves in these latrines by my hand.
Oh man, and I feel bad for the soulcasters who have to soulcast all the doo-doo into smoke. But you're right. I don't know if I like what you said, that it gives you a hint about the thrill being an external force. It's the emotions are hard in the Cosmere, especially when you read Mistborn and you're like, wow, they really can be manipulated. So you're kind of always looking for that.
Well, speaking of manipulation, I got a little something here to this effect.
Let's go.
Navani comes over and says, "You are a kind man, Dalinar," Navani said, that same sly smile on her lips as she sat back in her cushioned chair. "I'm afraid that I'm compelled to find you fascinating." And this is Dalinar's response to her. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
My sense of honor makes me easy to manipulate.
Oh, whoa.
I know it does. No need to toy with me, Navani.
Oh, dude, how did I let this go?
Bro, we've been talking about how what if Dalinar is not talking to the real Stormfather?
Mate.
I think that this is a flag to say that he has been manipulated. And then
don't say that.
Oh, I got another one for you. Just a few sentences later, Navani said, he says, I don't do anything to be intriguing. Navani replies, if you did, it wouldn't work. She leaned toward him. Do you know why I picked Gavilar instead of you all those years ago? And this is a parallel to me feeling like Odium is going to eventually pick Dalinar as his person.
Oh my God. Yeah. Finish off, mate.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like the manipulation and then talking about being selected.
Yep. Slam dunk. It's a slam dunk. This is like a total Odium's champion foreshadowing. That's what I'm going for.
That's what I circled it as. My sense of honor makes 100%. Me easy to manipulate.
Oh my God. I'm just more disappointed I just let that go.
Hey, every now and then old Jimmy Stormbless comes through with a zinger.
This is the yin yang.
I'm on for another week, guys. I extended my contract.
Yeah, he's done it. He's done it. No, but seriously, that's brilliant. That is so good.
That sentence is so purposeful. Like there's no way he didn't
that is huge. That is huge, dude.
What I'm saying is that his sense of honor makes him easy to manipulate, and I think Dalinar will be manipulated.
Yeah. You've slam dunked that, dude. That's great.
Thank you.
That's so good. Yeah. Brilliant.
Support me on Patreon.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm more than ever convinced of the Dark Dalinar theory. Can we name this theory so we can make it like a popular theory? Like how we predict Dalinar's going to be like a Dark Lord.
Dark Dalinar.
Dark Dalinar. Okay.
Yeah. Dalinar of Darkness. If you want to be like really like dramatic about it.
It's like, he's going to be some like, I want to make a comparison. There's a Mistborn character who kind of does this. If you remember, kind of has that like, I'm being manipulated, but I kind of want to help thing going on. And I could see that being Dalinar for sure in the second half.
Yeah.
Oof, I love it. I love it.
I also just want to apologize if people can hear like a mower in the back. I don't know what. I guess people are like racing lawnmowers outside of my house or something. Like, I don't understand why it's so loud. I don't understand.
There's always that one guy who's like, I'm going to rev
this. It's a cover
up.
Yeah. It's the Kremlin Bureau of Investigation. They're trying to cover up that we have figured out that Dalinar is going to go to the dark side.
Dude, do you remember that? There's that episode of Rick and Morty where Morty gets like a headset where he can understand what animals are thinking, and then he's like, birds are thinking about flying, snails thinking about crawling, and then he looks at the squirrels and he realized they're all like watching the humans, and they're like, that kid's looking at us, he knows he's onto us.
That's the Kremlings.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's like the Kremlings.
I love that.
Yeah, that's
exactly what it's like.
Yeah, like kids watching us. God, you've just taken the wind out of my sails. I can't stop thinking about this theory now.
Well, I think every now and then I get one. I mean, at the very least, I think it's Dalinar exposing the fact that like he is not infallible, right? And that he can be manipulated, which we can kind of see. Like Sadeas is honestly working circles around him when it comes to political maneuvering. So it's not all that shocking, but I just felt like the honor side of it was very significant. And then only a few sentences later does Navani say that she chose Gavilar over him, which by the way is very rude. I don't know why she has to be so hurtful. And I don't know, like Dalinar being a choice, and we know Dalinar has to make a choice coming up against Odium. It just, I don't know. It feels like a little bit of Brandon being cheeky there.
Yeah, very cheeky. I have another question, right? So I started thinking about the Voidbringer thing.
Yes.
When they're like, all right, this book depicted this is a Chasm Fiend is a Voidbringer. We don't think that's what they really thought, but like they just drew this because it's like the closest thing, right? So like the whole big twist is like the humans were the Voidbringers, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just curious where this term originated. That's my question. Because if the humans were the Voidbringers, firstly, it's just like an interesting. If you're bringing the void, like what are you actually bringing? What is that? What is the void? If you like,
is it just like the essence of nothing that they left their planet as? Like it was destroyed, right? And now they're going to bring that same danger / void to their world, maybe?
I don't know, because like,
I don't really like that.
No, because it's like we have all these terms in Stormlight, like void light, like it's an actual thing, you know. And there's void spren.
Did they bring like void spring with them when they came? And it's like, people talk about like if we were to meet like an alien species, we couldn't interact with them because we'd introduce bacteria to them that would end up killing them or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
maybe it's going to go all the way to the bacterial level. I don't know.
Yeah, like I'm going to read the official the Voidbringer thing on the Coppermind.
Okay.
So it says the Voidbringers are historically considered to be a group of creatures that attacked the humans of Roshar in a series of wars known as Desolations. In the 4.5 millennia since Aharateam, which is just the day the heralds gave up, much of the factual evidence on Voidbringers has faded into myth and legend, as well as Voron doctrine. Voidbringers were said to have cast mankind out of the Tranquiline halls and fought the heralds of the Almighty and Knights Radiant on Roshar. Despite the fact that the Voidbringers were mostly dismissed as legends and folklore, the scholar Yasna Colin feared what was to come and tried to surmise the true nature of the Voidbringers, hypothesizing that the singers were the Voidbringers. In actuality, upon the arrival of the Everstorm, the Voidbringers were revealed to be a large coalition of various beings allied with the Shard Odium, not solely singers. Furious at their displacement and slavery at the hands of mankind, the Voidbringers are intent on taking Roshar for themselves. So that sort of suggests to me it's the fused. If you want to get technical,
yeah,
the fused are technically the Voidbringer, because like they had this moment where the Voidbringers, but I think technically it's the fused, right? Yeah. So sorry, that's like a long roundabout way to say why the heck are they saying it's a chasm fiend?
Yeah. And I was going to say, and then Shallan illustration is a chasm fiend. So
yeah,
what in the world?
It still doesn't match up. So are they just associating? Are they just associating the fused with chasm fiends?
I guess so, and like making it. Maybe they feel like they're responsible for.
I'm really not sure. We have these like curious chasm. I feel like there's more to the chasm fiend though, because do you remember briefly at the end of Rhythm of War when we get this like last moment with Eshonai in the flashbacks, like after her death, and she like flies over Roshar or whatever. Like the Stormfather flies her over Roshar, and then we get this weird moment with the chasm fiend. It's kind of blurry in my head.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
Okay, but like, I don't know. Just feel like, yeah, there's just like big old question mark there. That I don't think we're going to get to the bottom of right now. I think we're both like, the lore is overwhelming us. Yeah,
we got a lot of book to go before we even get to that point. So, which is fine, right?
There's, something's going on. Something's going on. I mean, I'm just asking the questions.
We're just raising the flag. That's all. We're just saying, hey, make sure you pay attention.
Someone's going to debunk that one for us. Thank goodness.
Yes.
I feel it coming.
We do appreciate it, by the way.
Yeah. Is it time, mate? Is it time? The letter.
It is time for the letter. Let's do it.
All right. I'm going to toss it over to you to read the letter. You good with that? Do you have it? Do you have it up?
I don't have it up. You got me. All
right, I'll link you. I'll link you the letter. All right, here you go. You know, the most interesting part, and I couldn't resist, is like we get a response to the letter in Words of Radiance. We'll resist now, but I did read ahead to see like what comes back, which is fun.
Interesting.
So yeah, on the page I go that I gave you, it's just the first
letter. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one. If you want to stop at any point to discuss, go for it.
Okay. So this is the epigraphs from part 2, and Hoid is writing to Frost, which I'm going to have to ask you who in the world that is.
Okay.
And it's essentially talking about Ray's Vessel of Odium, a bunch of other stuff. But here is the actual letter. Okay. Starts here at the top. Old friend, I hope this missive finds you well. Though as you are now essentially immortal, I would guess that wellness on your part is something of a given. I realize that you are probably still angry. That is pleasant to know. Much as your perpetual health, I have come to rely upon your dissatisfaction with me. It is one of the Cosmere's great constants, I should think. Let me first assure you that the element is quite safe. I have found a good home for it. I protect its safety like I protect my own skin, you might say. You do not agree with my quest. I understand that, so much as it is possible to understand someone with whom I disagree so completely. Might I be quite frank? Before, you asked why I was so concerned. It is for the following reason. Ati, A-T-I, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, was once a kind and generous man, and you saw what became of him. Reyes, on the other hand, was among the most loathsome, crafty, and dangerous individuals I had ever met. He holds the most frightening and terrible of all the shards. Ponder on that for a time, you old reptile, and tell me if your insistence of non-intervention holds firm. Because I assure you, Reyes will not be similarly inhibited. One need only to look at the aftermath of his brief visit to Cell to see proof of what I say. In case you have turned a blind eye to that disaster, know that Aona and Sky are both dead, and that which they held has been splintered. Presumably to prevent anyone from rising up to the challenging of Reyes. You have accused me of arrogance in my quest. You have accused me of perpetuating my grudge against Reyes and Bavadan. Both accusations are true. Neither point makes things I have written to you untrue. I am being chased. Your friends of the 17th Shard, I suspect. I believe they're still lost following a false trail I left for them. They'll be happier that way. I doubt they have an inkling of what to do with me, should they actually catch me. If anything I have said makes a glimmer of sense to you, I trust that you'll call them off. Or maybe you could astound me and ask them to do something productive for once. For I have never been dedicated to a more important purpose, and the very pillars of the sky will shake with the results of our war here. I ask again, support me. Do not stand aside and let disaster consume more lives. I've never begged you for something before, old friend. I do so now.
Oh, man.
Big. When you're reading these epigraphs, I don't feel like it's this epic, but when you read that letter, I mean, it feels, I will say the rhetoric there and the actual plea from Hoid is pretty convincing and very concerning.
Yeah. What's the line that I love? It was something about like the conflict here will like, yeah, here we go. The very pillars of the sky will shake with the results of our war here. I was like, damn. That's epic. That's really cool.
Yeah. So what's going on here and who's Frost? And honestly, can you remind me about Reyes and everything?
Okay. Yeah. I'll catch you up for the most part. So Frost is interesting because Frost is like not really officially spoken about in any of the published works. It's a bit of a like Sanderson has talked about it through questions and things. He had some like unofficial, non-canonical like short things written with Frost and Hoid involved. So that's why people are kind of aware of what's going on. But it's not like you can pick up a published Cosmere novel and like spot him anywhere. So Frost is a dragon, and well, like a person who can turn into a dragon, as I understand it, on the planet of Yolen. And the planet of Yolen is basically where everything like first started. It's like the original planet of the Cosmere. That's where Hoid's from. And that's where like all the people who hold all the shards are from. So he's like at home base of the Cosmere. And Frost's mentality is like non-intervention policy. Like, I'm not going to mess with anything. I'm just going to let the Cosmere happen. And Hoid is like, I'm going to get involved in literally everything. That's Hoid's policy. And Hoid's like, dude, come help me. So that's the gist of like the context there. And basically all the names that we keep hearing throughout this letter are the people who hold the shards of like the other Cosmere worlds. I suppose we should just like accept some light Cosmere mechanic spoilers in this.
I think that's fine.
Yeah. So you're good so far? Is that all making sense?
Oh yeah. Honestly, it sounds super interesting. I love this stuff. This is why I want to know more.
Right. So Ray's. So okay, here we go. So when he says Ati or Ati was once a kind and generous man, and you saw what became of him. So Ati or Ati, whatever, he's the guy who holds the shard ruin. He's in Mistborn. So he's like saying, hey, this guy was like a nice dude, and then he took up that shard and look what happened to him. And then he goes on to say like Ray's, which is the dude who has odium, and now he's got this shard. Like it's only going to be even worse than that.
So Ray's has odium shard, which odium is now Taravangian, right?
Yeah. So the shard impacts your personality and stuff a little bit.
So let me ask you this. So obviously before Taravangian it becomes odium. Was odium Ray's then at that moment?
Yeah.
So did Taravangian outsmart Ray's and is now like elevated himself beyond Ray's?
Like he killed him.
Okay.
He straight up killed him.
Wow.
And now he took the shard.
I know people are probably like, didn't you read the books? Yes, but like none of this made sense to me at the time. So this is education time.
Yeah, so Taravangian killed Ray's with Nightblood, and now he's odium, basically. Like he has the shard.
That's so sick. I mean, I remember how epic that scene was, and that, like Taravangian's my favorite Sanderson character, but like, woo!
It's crazy. So like, Ray's has had this shard for like millennia.
Wow.
And then Taravangian's like, give me that.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I'll be taking that with my talking sword. It's wild. Yeah, okay. So he's like, help me because odium's basically gonna ruin the world as we know it. So the next thing he says, the next thing we can make sense of, he goes, one need only look at the aftermath of his brief visit to Cell to see proof of what I say. In case you have turned a blind eye to that disaster, know that Aona and Sky are both dead, and that which they held has been splintered, presumably to prevent anyone from rising up to challenge Ray's. So what those people he's talking about there are the two shards, or the two people that held the shards that presided over like the world of Elantris. So you know how in Elantris, like the whole magic system's messed up?
Yeah.
And all the injuries are everlasting and all this stuff. It's because odium killed those people who presided over that planet.
Whoa.
So he's like, dude, if you don't take me seriously while you've been chilling and non-intervening, odium's gone over to that planet and ruined things. And he splintered the actual shard so nobody can pick it up. So nobody, like, he's on a bit of a rampage sort of thing.
Yeah, and we have other Cosmere works that have splintered shards as well.
Yeah, because like honor is splintered,
and
right?
Isn't in Yumi as well, right? I thought there was.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe
I thought that was. I might be wrong. I actually don't know if it's splintered. I can't really remember.
Yeah,
I have to look. This stuff gets very confusing to me.
Yeah, I can feel it. But basically, he's just saying odium's been traveling around the Cosmere and has been messing things up. So we need to take him seriously. I guess he's worried about the next steps that he's gonna be taking. And then Hoid says, I'm being chased. Your friends of the 17th Shard, I believe they're still lost following a false trail I left for them. 17th Shard are just kind of that other group of like non-interventionists that are watching the Cosmere and making sure Hoid and others don't mess it up. Mm-hmm. So Hoid's just like, dude, help me out here. So yeah, it's just all the shard dramas. It's just all the shard dramas. And what's kind of stunning to me is just like all these people were there at the beginning. You know, like these are the people that like Adonalsium was like the all-powerful god, whatever. We don't even know what it is really, but these were the people who like killed it and then took up each shard, which was like a facet of it.
Do we know if they were just in killing the god, or was it considered a
we don't know
thing? Okay,
we don't know, but we know that Hoid was there and like part of it.
See, this is the stuff that like drives me to want to like, because I DNF'd the Launtress because like I thought it wasn't very good, and but like so this is the kind of stuff that it does make you want to go read this stuff, even if you don't necessarily love the story, just to get the little tidbits, right? Or you could just read a wiki like most people do, but this is the kind of stuff. I mean, this is awesome.
Yeah, it's like we're seeing the biggest players very, very quickly. And I guess it's just, I guess like as a reader, I think all he's trying to do is like just telegraph to us that like that Odium is a big threat.
And then Taravangian kills.
Taravangian straight up like, no, I want to be the big threat.
Wild. Dude.
So it said, just on the shattering about Analsium, I'm just getting this up here. It says, at Analsium's opposition or some subset of their number eventually put their final plan into action on Yolan, which is this like planet, this home planet of the Cosmere. The group included Hoid and likely Frost, in addition to those who had become the original vessels of the 16 shards. Few details are known concerning what transpired at the shattering. The shattering occurred as a single event at which Analsium was indeed killed, and consequently its power was divided into 16 equal portions. This bears some resemblance, some measure of resemblance to the splintering of shards. Investiture throughout the Cosmere was affected as a result of the shattering becoming associated with particular shards. So basically, like, it's the origin story. It's kind of like the Big Bang-ish. So like that was the home planet with the one single god, and they split it up and like started off their own worlds, which is pretty interesting.
Wow.
Which makes me want to see that planet. Like, how did that work?
Yeah, what does that look like? How do people live with it? Yeah, I mean, there's just very sci-fi. I mean, this is sci-fi, right? Like,
yeah,
it's
because each shard like impacts the world so distinctly. So if Analsium encompassed all of them, what does that world look like? Dragons, I guess.
You want to talk about high fantasy? I feel like it would be the highest of fantasies.
Yeah. And I'm just going to make sure it's in this letter that I don't go ahead to the other one. But does he say that he's immortal?
Yes.
Yeah. He goes, though, as you are now essentially immortal. So yeah, like how does that work? That they can live forever there too. And how can Hoid live forever? There's all these questions, right? Yeah. It's just a lot of like name drops and suggestions of bigger things happening. I think we covered the gist though. The gist has been covered.
Yeah, and if any of you have more to say about it, feel free to send it over to the spanreeds. We would love to hear more about it. But I mean, this is awesome stuff. I mean, this is why I've always like loved your videos, because you're able to like spell things out in a way that I can actually understand it. Because in the context of it, even going like to the wiki and stuff, it's not.
It can get overwhelming.
Yeah,
and just to defend myself, I'm not a massive Cosmere expert either. I just try to simplify it in a way, like you said, that's understandable, and I've still got a lot to read. But it's just like, hey, this guy's a bad guy. Stop being a dragon. That's basically it.
Yeah, I feel like I have so much I need to read. Like I know I need to get to Era 2 and Mistborn as well, to get a better idea, because I heard that the last book is very Cosmere heavy.
Yes, I've heard the same.
But I also know that I have to read a bunch of other stuff I haven't read, I think, before I can read it. So it's like,
it's hard. Wild times, mate.
Yeah. Well, I think we successfully covered a chapter. We got into some big Cosmere implications.
Yeah, I just felt like that was me being like, quickly explain.
No, it was good.
Hopefully it works. Yeah.
I thought it was great. Yeah. We got a lot. I mean, the funny thing is we're sitting over here trying to recall exactly like the first meetings of the Parshendi and stuff on the Stormlight level. And then you got this whole other grand epic scale past that goes into planets and sci-fi element. It's just crazy.
Yeah. I feel like, Sanderson's got a whole other background novel going on with Hoid that he's like, that's a whole other thing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Did he say we were going to get a Hoid novel? Didn't he say that was like one of the reasons why he needed to write in Hoid's voice, because he knows that he's going to have to write a Hoid novel?
I mean, it's called Dragonsteel, I'm fairly sure. Like that will be the Hoid book. It'll be called Dragonsteel.
Oh my God.
Hence the whole dragon thing with Frost.
Oh my God. He probably has hidden the answer to the series in like his marketing.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
on the package and added the numbers and then went to this web address.
Oh yeah, I could so see that.
I'd be down with that. I'm in.
Yeah, but like I think that again highlights the significance of it. If you're going to name your whole damn company after this thing,
certainly,
it must be the key to everything.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Wow, what an episode, dude! And kudos to you for having all that knowledge, and I appreciate you wrestling that down because I was a bit lost. That's lost. Okay. Which I hope someone else listening was lost, so I'm not alone.
I'm just gonna say this: as cool as all that stuff is, still the hammer was the most interesting thing to me. Just him smacking them rocks. Like as cool as the whole Cosmere thing is, I'm here for like the granular stuff. You know?
Yeah, I think for me, the best part is the questioning of like, why didn't we use this technology to help out people in their everyday tasks? Cool. Because I think about this stuff all the time in our real world, and I just like thinking about like history and why we do the things we do, and like who said this is the way we have to do it. And Dalinar is literally doing that here. Yeah, and I love that question posed in stories as well. So that's my favorite part of this this whole thing.
Yeah. So again, we're in the Stormlight stuff.
Yeah, we're Stormlight guys. First and foremost.
That's what we'll say. We're just Stormlight guys. That's all we are. That's all we're here for. But anyway, guys, as always, thank you for accompanying us on this episode of Lost in Roshar. Remember, the most important chapter a man can read is the next one. We'll see you next week to dive into a part 2 recap and diving into your thoughts and theories, as well as those 3 glorious interludes. I'm so pumped for them.
Yeah, they're like the best. They're probably the best in this book, so it'll be really good stuff to go over. Folks, if you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, please be sure to leave us a review on whichever platform you listen on. It helps the podcast quite a bit on those podcast sites. And if you're watching on YouTube, of course, a like and subscribe is always a good thing over there as well. So if you have feedback, questions, or theories, spanreed us at lostinroshar@gmail.com. We'll see you next time on Lost in Roshar. And remember to keep that safe hand covered.